So this video is going to be a little different. And if anyone's out there that's really wanting to know why, how, where I'm going, how I started, what I'm doing now, in this video, I'm going to dive into something I rarely talk about, and that's myself. But when it comes to going to a place that I haven't been in years, I'm about to take you there. So let's go. So the reason I started Be Great Guys, it was 2015, 2016. I was in one of the best businesses I've ever been able to create, which was Carolina Chocolate Company. And within that company, I've been able to build friendships with people that I still talk to this day. Shout out to both of y'all. But in that life, creating chocolate, writing recipes and selling chocolate and traveling and doing all those things that were so exciting in the moment, my health, my physical being was on the back burner. I used to see my father get up and go to work even when he didn't want to. I used to see him sacrifice things for my brother and myself for so long. My mother did the same thing. And I thought I had that mentality of, okay, if I get into this rat race, as long as I provide something of tangibility to my family, I'm successful. And that is at the detriment of my body. It really, with no regard to my health, to the wealth of my mindset of wanting to be better, wanting to progress and wanting to evolve into things better than I could even imagine. I just went to work. And in that, I witnessed one of the lowest parts of my life. And that was when RA called me to tell me that our son was crawling for the first time. I was out of town on some trip, wrapping up a show, getting ready to come home. And that literally made my day. I told my business partners, I told my people, and I said, yo, man, I can't wait to catch this flight and go home. I don't even think it was a flight. Nah, it wasn't a flight. I was driving. So I can't wait to drive. I can't wait to drive and go home. And as soon as I got home, my son, my beautiful baby boy, was crawling to me like those little turtles. I got on all fours to play with him. And after about 3 minutes, man, I had to take a break. A break after 3 minutes. That literally broke me down. I was sitting, watching my son crawl around me with so much joy and energy and health and innocence. I was watching my soon-to-be wife look at me, even though I don't think it was shame or embarrassment. I felt all of those things internally. I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed that my son, who I know doesn't even remember this, but saw me as, okay, he can provide for me, but he can't keep up with me crawling. My wife seeing me with a look on her eyes that just destroyed me. And it was something in me that had to make a change. And within that change came my choice. We all have choices. We all have choices that we make every single day. And it's up to us to make the choice of consistency, of change, of wanting to be better for yourself, wanting to be better for your family, but you first have to be better for yourself. In that moment, I chose to stop putting myself on the back burner and start listening to myself. Start listening to my subconscious telling me that you don't have all the time in the world, Harold. You have to change if you want to be better. The only way that I could become different is that I had to start to be different. That was my moment of no return. Seeing my son and seeing my wife look at me as the provider of this family, and feeling that feeling of shame guilt, looking back on all the years that I just allowed food to have control over my life, how I would do things one moment that I felt good because I put forth effort 3 months, and then I backslid and I gained more weight, or I would drive past fast food restaurants and trying to tell myself that I'm better than that, or just succumbing to those quick moments of gratification. But it was lasting detriment over my life, and it led to that moment. And that next day, I made a change. I chose to love myself more. I chose to love myself with more compassion and grace. And the countless years that I tried to do this yo-yo dieting and go from buying these supplements to depriving myself of calories or starving myself, I now chose to go through life as graceful as I possibly can, one day at a time. And I can tell you, man, it wasn't perfect. I mean, it took a lot of trial and error, a lot of times of me telling myself that, okay, I'm going to beat this. I'm going to be able to no longer eat from emotion. I will now choose me. And I will love me more by telling myself that I am bigger and stronger than any food in front of me. The food doesn't have control over my life anymore, and I am enough. And with those consistent days of affirmation and creating that discipline around my food, around my habits, I slowly started to see that my life became easier when it came to my mindset. My workouts became easier. I started to lose weight because that was inevitable when I chose to love myself more. That was the key to changing my life for the better. A lot of people know me as this very happy, very joyous person, always smiling, always willing to give a hug, have a conversation. But there are always things that we deal with. And this is just something that has been dealing with me for years. And I never talked about it. I never brought it up. I mean, I would say little things to my clients. I would use portions of my story to help motivate them better. But being this intimate and going back and trying to unpack those emotions, it was a hard thing to come around to when I chose to make this video. But even saying that, I know that it's not about me. It's about us trying to conquer something that has been over us for so long. Having those traumatic moments that we just put behind us, or we put in our subconscious because we don't have the strength to fight them now. And food was one of my weaknesses. When I realized that I was in control, the only person that can put food in my mouth is me. That food has no power. It can't jump in my mouth. It's a whole nother thing. But I have control. I have the power over the food that I allow my body to take in. And when that lifestyle started to unfold itself to me, my life became easier. I went from 317 pounds to 135 to 235. Calm down, age. You're not there yet. But life started to become easier. I took control of what was beating me down for so long. I made a choice. And that's all we have every single day. We wake up to the gift of a new day, and we are given choices throughout that day. Every single choice we make is writing our story to our future. We're going to reap that benefit of having that goodness around us. But when we succumb to weaknesses or fall victim to allowing food to have control over our lives, that narrative will be directed toward that food that we gave power to. And you are in control. All you have to do is have one thought, have that thought turn into consistency. And within that consistent thought that you do every single day, tell yourself, I love you every single day. I had to tell myself literally that I am better and stronger than the food that I think or thought had control over me every single day for 2 years. Within that time frame, I was able to let patience birth a new Harold, a more confident Harold, a Harold of being able to drive past food restaurants and not be thinking about it all day. Something I used to do for years, but that took time. It didn't take a diet, didn't take a shot, didn't take a weight loss pill. It just took me choosing to love me more. And when I did that, I became happier. I chose to want to be around longer because I loved the person I have become. I want to be able to live this life as free as I possibly can. And my burden was the food that I thought had control over me. When I told my mindset that food wasn't in control anymore, it was a wrap. It was a game changer. Yeah, it took time. Yes, it took 2 years, but I would go back and do that a million times over and go through those 2 years, every single second of it, knowing what I know now. It's hard to hear that you can change your life and it'll take a year. It'll take 6 months. It'll take 2 years. That's hard because we are creatures of habit. We want something to happen instantly. That's why we pay for things. Instead of cooking, we go out to eat. Going to the gym and not knowing what you're doing at the gym, you buy a personal trainer or you buy a health coach. I mean, we pay for the convenience. We want it now. When I tell my clients that this is going to be a 6 month to a year plan, 9 times out of 10, they look at me crazy. Man, you can't do it in 2 months. And I never fought them for that because I was in that same boat. I thought that I can do something and change past habits that I had for so long within 3 months. I thought that I could make my life better in 2 months. I thought that if I just stay consistent and do everything I need to do, I would be better in a month. Yes, you can progress in that time frame, but if you want to change your lifestyle, and when I chose to change my lifestyle from the quick fix of weight loss and not even thinking about losing weight anymore, I lost the most weight of my life. When I took weight loss out of my mind, that's when I got to my goal faster because weight wasn't important. The number on the scale was not important to me anymore. Me loving myself more, me being happier when I woke up, me being able to crawl around with my son and run around with him when he started to walk, me being able to have more energy for my wife when we go out on date nights. Those things were the only thing that mattered. Me loving me more, the weight came off faster because I was no longer consumed over weight loss. Oh, this is crazy. This is the first time that I ever had this conversation, man. Like I'm kind of outside of having this hoodie on, I'm a little warm. I know that there are people out there that are living the same life that I lived years ago. And you are not alone. You don't need some fancy coach. You don't need me. You don't need Tap In Wellness. You don't need Be Great Guys. You don't need a gym membership. You only need to start with you. Yes, those things will be a catalyst throughout your journey. But if you don't choose you and focus on your changed mindset when it comes to this long game, man, that we playing, it's crazy because we tend to play it as fast as we possibly can. Your true happiness doesn't live in a quick fix. You're going to live out your beautiful existence for years to come Why not take this small investment in time, even if it's a year, to be able to learn the game of loving yourself more, letting go of past trauma, letting go of present trauma, and fixing whatever's in front of you when it comes to your weight loss so you don't have to ever worry about it again. I would take that year over anything. And I know there are people out there that are going through the same thing that I went through. Comment anywhere you see me, and I am always available for you, man, because I know what you're going through. I know how it felt to be in a restaurant with your friends one night and eat a salad because you want to portray that you're eating healthy, but the only thing on your mind is hitting McDonald's afterwards. But I can tell you that you don't have to live there. You have the choice to pull yourself out, to give yourself the power and take back control of your life. All you have to do is choose you. Tell yourself that I am choosing you. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that I choose you. When I did that, my life changed. Yours could too.